Hi everyone, welcome back to our water fluoridation investigation. So one of you have emailed me and told me that I really need to check out these old newspaper articles talking about sodium fluoride being put in food and water and beer. Now, I have not read these articles yet, so I thought I would do a type of react video. Now, for some of you who may be joining me for the first time, sodium fluoride is regularly put in our community drinking water. This is a toxin, a neurotoxin. This is a poison. The city of Richmond and the county of Henrico put sodium fluoride in the drinking water for years and have recently switched over to hydrofluorosilicic acid because the hydrofluorosilicic acid is cheaper. So with that being said, let's jump into these articles, shall we? Okay, guys, so these articles are going to be from oldest to newest. They come from the Library of Virginia, and the first one comes from the Telegraph, and the year is May 25th, 1866. The next article we're going to be looking at comes from the Columbian, Bloomberg, Pennsylvania, and this is going to be May 2nd, 1901. We've got New York Tribune. The year is July 11th, 1901. We have a Gazette. I don't know how to pronounce the name of that Gazette. The year is going to be November 12th, 1901. So a lot was going on in 1901, apparently. And then we've got the Salt Lake Herald. This is going to be January 12th, 1905. Then we're going to move into the Bridgeport Evening Farmer. The year is February 20th, 1914. And then we're going to finish it off with the Sun. This is going to be November 30th, 1919. So if you're not familiar with the Library of Congress, you can search anything you want. And so this particular viewer searched fluoride, and you can see it highlights in red the word fluoride. So what I've done is cut out the articles to make it a little bit clearer for us to follow along. So let's jump into that. Let's start off with the first. Okay. It's raining and I'm trying to stop drinking caffeine. So if I stumble with my words, forgive me. I'm a little sleep deprived. Okay, so this first article, they're talking about goiters. So if you're not familiar, a goiter happens when you don't have enough iodine. Your thyroid needs iodine. When you don't have that iodine, then you will, your neck will produce a goiter. Fluoride competes with iodine, so it displaces it. So if you've got fluoride and you have iodine, the fluoride will displace the iodine, cause you to have a slow thyroid, underactive thyroid, and can lead to goiters. Okay, so this is going to be artificial production of goiter. The cause of goiter is said by M. Mamine, a French chemist, to be the presence of fluorides in the water of certain regions. He has proved this experimentally. Okay, so he's proven out what causes goiters. He gave a dog fluoride of potassium for 5 months, and at the end of this time, he noticed a particular swelling in the neighborhood of the neck, of course, because that's where the goiter is. His experiments were not then continued further owing to the escape of the dog. But when the animal was recaptured some 3 years afterwards, the swelling was still as apparent as at first, though M. Galet, maybe, a REMS physician, did not think it sufficiently prominently marked to justify him in calling it goiter. So there was a debate about it. M. Mameen states that in all countries where goiter is prevalent, fluorides prevail in the water. Okay, so this is very old. So if you recall, this article was in 1866. They were trying to figure this out, and there were many more studies that went on to prove that yes, when you consume a bunch of fluoride, ingest a bunch of fluoride, then in fact it displaces the iodine. When you have the lack of iodine, it will cause you to have a goiter. So yes, was this a crummy study in 1866? Absolutely. But it led to further discoveries, which later confirmed that fluoride will contribute to problems with your thyroid, which can cause goiters. All right, so let's read the second one. The second one comes from the Columbian, and this is going to be May 2nd, 1901. So let's see what the second article is. Okay. Milkmen cannot use it. Preservation of milk by chemicals injurious to health is now forbidden by law. Preservation of milk by chemicals. Oh, so you're like trying to preserve milk. There was a big issue back then because people were leaving milk out. They were using sick animals. And so they were trying to figure out how to preserve milk. And eventually they came up with heating the milk and preserving it that way. So we have preservation of milk by chemicals injurious to health is now forbidden by law. Wow. Among a number of bills signed by the governor on Saturday was one to cover this evil. Oh my gosh. It is made unlawful to use for I'm not sure what this word is, formaldehyde, sodium fluoride, and sodium benzoate, in addition to milk alteration compounds already under the ban. The penalty for violation of the law is a fine. Oh, so you can poison people. It's just a fine of $50 to $100 or imprisonment. Okay, you can get locked up, not exceeding 60 days or both. I don't know how much this was back in May 2nd of 1901. So I don't know if $50 or $100 was a deterrent back then. Okay, and what county? This was in Columbian, Pennsylvania. So in Pennsylvania, they passed a law saying you cannot put sodium fluoride in the milk because it's considered adulterating the milk. And yet, all over America, they're putting sodium fluoride in our drinking water. Okay. And they state, the governor on Saturday was one to cover this evil. So they say putting sodium fluoride in the milk is evil, but putting sodium fluoride in the drinking water, that's okay. Beautiful. Okay. All right, let's get into the next one. Dangerous preservatives in beer. To the editor of the Tribune, sir, it is not time that steps should be taken. Is it not time that steps should be taken to place the responsibility for the addition of dangerous preservatives to beer. In the current issue of the New York Medical Journal is reported a case of acute chronic fluorine poisoning due to the drinking of beer, which was presumably preserved with sodium fluoride. The poisonous effects of beer containing this dangerous preservative are manifested by enormous and painful swelling of the limbs and intense pain in the abdomen due to the formation of blood clots, oh my God, in the veins, producing thrombosis, muscular twitching, and cramps in consequence of irritation of the nerve. I'm not sure what that says. Centris are also present. It is generally believed that beers of domestic manufacturers are free from dangerous fluoride compounds added as preservatives, and that the danger of poisoning from such is more to be apprehended in the imported beers. Oh my God. So essentially, there's sodium fluoride is a poison. This is rat poison. And essentially, people are putting rat poison in the imported beers. And so they're telling you, don't drink the imported beers, drink the local beers because there's no sodium fluoride in it. Let's continue. Where was I? In the imported beers, but it would be a source of considerable satisfaction to beer drinkers if they could have some assurance from leading firms of brewers that the dangerous fluoride compounds are not used in their products. So people are putting sodium fluoride in the imported beer. They're using it because this fluoride, it kills off bacteria, right? It's a poison. It kills everything. It kills humans, it kills rats, it kills bacteria, it kills enzymes. So they're trying to, these people don't know how to preserve anything properly and keep bacteria out of products. So they're dumping a bunch of sodium fluoride in it, shipping it, and then everybody's drinking it. What year is this again? We've got May 2nd, 1909, and this comes from Pennsylvania. Okay, this is extremely disturbing. Well, the New York Medical Journal is reporting. So this was in the New York Medical Journal. New York Medical Journal is reported a case. It's not really correct English. A case of acute chronic fluorine poisoning due to the drinking of beer, which was presumably preserved with sodium fluoride. The poisonous effect of beer containing this dangerous preservative are manifested by enormous and painful swelling of the limbs and intense pain in the abdomen. That's because this is a poison that kills you. That's what happens to rats when they eat it. Due to the formation of blood clots in the veins, producing thrombosis, muscular twitching, and cramps in consequence of irritation of the nerves. Centries, I'm not sure what that is, are also present. It is generally believed that the beer of domestic manufacture and free from dangerous fluoride compounds added as preservatives, and that the danger of poisoning from such is more to be apprehended in the imported beers, but it would be a source of considerable satisfaction to beer drinkers if they could have assurance from leading firms of brewers that the dangerous fluoride compounds are not to be used. So people are pleading to have the beer makers reassure them that they're not going to put sodium fluoride in the beer, but don't worry, we're going to put sodium fluoride in the drinking water and have pregnant women and babies to drink it. Got it. Okay. Let's move on to the third article. Okay, the third article again comes from the New York Tribune, and this is July 11th, 1901. Numerous cases of poisoning due to drinking loaded apple cider are coming to light, and investigation is being prosecuted. Prosecuted. The way that they write is struggling. I struggle. Some of this cider, known to have been manufactured at Salem, is being analyzed at the Agriculture College by the station chemist. And as soon as the State Dairy and Food Commissioner has received his return, he will attend to the manufacturer who placed it on the market. There are those who believe that the cider was rendered poisonous by having been shipped and handled in unclean vessels, but the chemist nicely has found the cider contains sodium fluoride, a deadly poison. The drug was used by the manufacturers for the purpose of preserving the beer. The symptoms of those who partook of this leverage are those of poisoning, not sure what that word, violent maybe, poisoning, violent cramps, followed by vomiting. The reason no fatalities are reported in connection with this case, with the cases, is that only small amounts of the cider were taken into the system. So people just drank a little bit of the cider and they had violent cramps followed by vomiting. People are putting sodium fluoride into the apple cider, and they say here, sodium fluoride, a deadly poisoning. Again, this poison is being added to our public drinking water. Pregnant women, babies, children are drinking this. People who are immune compromised. This is bad for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a healthy man. If you're a healthy man who's out there, maybe laying block, on the construction site, you're drinking water that has sodium fluoride or hydrofluorosilicic acid. This is designed to weaken us. This is designed to poison us. So we are sick and weak. They create a problem and have all of these people who are so sick, so then they can sell you the solution, which is more drugs. They poison you so then they can drug you with more poisons. I just don't even know how to describe this. Okay, this one, was July 11th, 1901. All right, let's get into the next one. We've got November 12th, 1901. This is the Gazette that I don't know how to pronounce. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Formaldehyde, borax, boric acid, salicylic acid, benzoate soda, saccharin, sulfite soda, and occasionally calcium and potass sulfites, sodium fluoride, I don't know what that says, abastrol, beta, nephritol, etc. These preservatives are used in a great variety of foods, notably milk, cream, butter, I think that's supposed to say ketchups, jams, preserves, meats, oysters, fish, canned goods, wines, beer in brief. So they put a little bit in beer. Every article liable to fermentation. So again, they're acknowledging that they're putting sodium fluoride in all of these foods. Okay, and this is poisoning everybody. How many do we have left? We've got 2 more to go. Okay, this next one comes from the Bridgeport Evening Post. What's the year? February 20th, 1914. The most interesting sample analyzed was one of canned asparagus, which contained sodium fluoride, a new adulterant for this state and a particularly poisonous one. Again, this is in February 20th, 1914. So it's been over 100 years. Everybody has known that this stuff is a poison, that this is a dangerous poison. And everyone's complaining about get it out of the food, get it out of our beverages. But what are we going to put it in? The drinking water, right? They said the people who sell sodium fluoride and hydrofluorosilicic acid to all these waterworks across Virginia are on record saying the solution to pollution is dilution, meaning they're going to put it, they don't want to pay the money to deal with the waste product. They're going to put it in the drinking water. So then we drink it and then it goes into our drinking water. We are literally consuming poisons. And they've known this for 100 years. Let's move on to the last one. November 30th, 1919, The Sun. I swear. What does this say? Chop meat first. First, the meat to be treated. First, the meat to be tested in chopped up or ground as fine as possible. The writing's a little blurry, so bear with me. And about 6 teaspoons are placed in any common flat bottom dish that happens to be acceptable to the housewife. Next, a test tube is filled about 1/3 full with clean water and 40 drops of 1% solution of phenylhydrazine hydrochloride and added to the dish container containing the meat. I don't know what's going on with this meat. I guess some sort of science experiment. And after this, the sample is heated in a double boiler for about 5 minutes. In the meantime, the housewife can wash out the test tubes and place in it 20 drops of 5% solution of potassium, not sure what that says, ferrocyanide, and sufficient hydrochloric acid to 1/6 full, maybe, fill it, I'm not sure. Then a small glass bottle with a piece of cotton in tea, I'm not sure what that says, it's too blurry, something set in the mouth of the tube. And when the contents of the dish have cooled, they are strained into the tube through the cotton. I don't know what's going on here. In the meat under test contain if the meat under test contain a dangerous amount of formaldehyde, the liquid in the tube would turn a bright red after having stood for a few minutes. Okay, some sort of science experiment. If the test turns out to be a failure, the meat under test may contain other chemicals, such as sodium fluoride, which can be found by placing an ounce of the finely ground meat into the dish and covering with milk of lime. The dish is then set over the hottest burner of the gas stove after making sure that it is perfectly dry on the outside. The solution is, it's too blurry, something until the lime solution is evaporated and the meat burned up as, I'm not sure, when it's cooled. Okay, so there's some sort of science experiment going on. Let's see if we can get to the end. Something readiness and laid over, I'm not sure. If the glass is etched or eaten away where the paraffin did not cover it, the meat contained a considerable amount of sodium fluoride. Oh my God. Oh my God. So what's going on is I know this from, taking organic chemistry, what else did I take? Microbiology. So I could tell this was a science experiment. Okay, so what they're doing is, this is a way to figure out if your meat has sodium fluoride, to test to see how much sodium fluoride is in your meat that you're eating. Why? Because they were using this as a preservative back then. They were dumping sodium fluoride on their meat and then selling it. So I guess people were getting sick, and mothers, housewives, they needed to do some sort of science experiment in their kitchens to see if their meat was adulterated, to see if it has a considerable amount of sodium fluoride. What is going on here? Oh my God. Wow. So there you have it, guys. It's been over 100 years, and they're still poisoning us. And you might want to say, okay, guys, it's been 100 years, over 100 years, and you might want to say to yourself, well, they passed these laws that, you're not allowed to put fluoride in your food or your beer or your baby's food or anything like that. Actually, no, because they put the fluoride in the drinking water. And what happens is people are watering their food with all of this fluoride. So fluoride is getting into your apples, your oranges, your greens, your beer, because beer companies, they buy water from municipalities that are putting fluoride in. So there is fluoride in your beer. It's in everything. And here they are saying again and again and again, this is a poison. People are getting sick. This is a poison. This is a poison. This is a poison. This is a crime, is what this is. These people need to be locked up. Anyone who is putting sodium fluoride, hydrofluorosilicic acid, or any other type of fluoride in the public drinking water needs to be locked up. I don't know how else to say this. Wow. Well, that's it. Those are all of the newspaper articles that I have for you. I encourage you to go check out some more from the Library of Congress and see what else you can do. Maybe I can have this viewer send some more and we can do, a few more. I definitely want to get into the history of how this water fluoridation all got started because a lot of people think, well, why would anyone want to poison us on purpose, right? Once you understand the history, it all makes sense. And many people don't understand, well, if the Henrico Board of Supervisors, isn't, if they're doing something wrong, certainly somebody would have stopped them by now. No, again, it'll make sense. I think that I need to cover both of those. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and leave a comment below. Leave a comment saying, I don't know, leave a comment that says fluoride, right? And if there's any other type of content that you would like for me to cover, you could email me or you can leave a comment below and I'll see if I can cover that video. So thanks a lot to this viewer. Great articles. Wow. Whew. Okay. See you next time, guys.